Alright guys, so today we're having the pleasure of working on this guy. This right here is a 2007 Toyota FJ. And my gosh, is it beautiful. But anyway, it's one of my client's cars. Really good paid job. You can tell he takes care of the vehicle just because of that. But get inside though. What the problem is though, is my client needs to get this car, needs to get this car off island. Now the only thing is he's running into a shipping issue. That issue right now is that the passenger air lag light will not go off. So when we turn on the car, everything else will go off except for that light. So what we're gonna do actually is take it out, the actual bulb itself, enough so that we can at least get this shipped out of here and off the island, and then once he gets back to the mainland, he's gonna reinstall it. We have a buddy out there who's gonna be waiting for him to put it back in, so we'll show you guys how to do that. Alright, so first, alright, so just gonna get your 10 mil, go ahead and remove the battery cable. Just on the negative side. Anytime you do anything with electrical, you always remove the negative ground terminal. Okay, we're just gonna stick that. Let me find a place to stick that because there's really nothing I can put it down with. All right, so I didn't really have a lot of room to move it anywhere, so I kind of shoved it down, put it right under this lip, and it's holding it in there really tight. The only reason why is because this is still on, but we don't really need to take that off. Okay, now you're gonna go back inside the car. You're just gonna turn it on, make sure the lights don't come on. Perfect, that's how you know it's off, just to make sure. All right, so what you're gonna do after that is you're actually gonna go from the back and you're gonna pull it up, and it should just pop out like that. And then this is gonna give you a lot more access to reach the instrument cluster wires in the back when we're taking that off. So you just set that off to the side. To access some of the bolts is actually to hold on the dash. There's one hiding behind here. You have to pull this out. It's right there if you can tell, but you just pull this little foot panel back and then you pull this out and you'll see it right there, and you just hit that up. All right, once you got access, take your 10 millimeter, just go ahead and get that bolt off of there. Just gonna go in there, same thing, just break it loose. Okay. So just so you guys know, this AC dial has to be in the middle, or else you end up breaking the actual wheel on the inside. And when you're removing it, you're gonna pop this up and you're gonna hear 4 clips pop out. Once you do that, you just pull this up, kind of like an angle going like that. And then you'll see how the funnel will just come right out of there. So that's the actuator. That's why you want to make sure it's in the middle, because if it's like that, when you pull it out, it's going to break it. If it's too high, it's going to break it. It's got to be right here. All right, you're going to get to the flathead. You're going to take this trim off right here, which is the silver trim. It's going to take it under there, get that screw off. It's right over there. It's just a flathead, or sorry, Phillips head. All right, once that's off, you're just going to lift up, like kind of like towards you. You're gonna hear it snap out. Oh shoot, okay, well there you go. So yeah, up and then out, and then it just popped out for me. But if you get stuck, you just go up and then you pull. All right, and then now since you just gained access to behind the panel, we can go ahead and remove this guy. All right, once you're done with that and you got that bolt out, now you have all 3 of them out. You're just gonna go here, you pull this out, and we just found a dime. Nice. Anyway, you're gonna go behind here because I feel like you get a lot more leverage, and you're just gonna pull this guy out of here. All right, so for the bottom one, you're just gonna pull all these brackets. You're just gonna come out. There should be no more screws. It is a little bit of a fight, but once you got it out, you're gonna see this cable right down here, and you just go ahead and disconnect that like so. All right, so I actually don't need to get this out because we're not even working on that. But for this guy, same thing. You're just gonna pull, clips should come out, and you're gonna pull up. Very important, you pull up at this part. So you're gonna go up, put your cables right over here. You're just gonna go ahead and disconnect those. some clips right here. So that's one. And that's 2 clips. Now keep in mind how they go in and where they go in, because you're gonna need that for when you're reinstalling this guy. But once you're done with that, should just come right to the side, off, and then out. Okay, so now I'll give you ease of access to get back into the instrument cluster, where you're gonna find 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Just to make sure I don't strip these, I'm not going to use a flathead on that. I mean, even though I could. Actually, never mind, they're not tight. But you're just going to take these out. Not yet, but before you take them out, before I forget, go ahead and just unplug all of these terminals. So they're just push down and pull. Okay, remember, keep in mind where they go. These wires go before doing what I'm doing. Okay, so you can pull right to the side and it should just slip right off like that. And now you have access to get ready and undo this and then get to the back of it. So let's do that real quick. All right, once you got all the screws out, you successfully have made room for you to just go ahead, make sure the clips are out too. Take this guy, pull it right out, and now you're ready to work on that bulb. Okay, so you got all these clips going around the side. So there's black and there's white ones. You're just gonna push them in. You're gonna start pulling just the cap off. So how it works is you're gonna pull this front one off first, the clear one with all the clear ones, and then you're gonna do the black ones after. I'll show you what that looks like after. And then how you do this is you just push it down and then push it back. You see how the whole thing is just kind of coming off by itself now. Just down and back. Same thing with these ones. Down, back, down, back, down, back. Bing, 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 boom. Now, so you got all of them. Just come on like that. Okay, and look, we can even clean in here too, because look at all that dirt in there. Probably never been cleaned on the inside yet. You do this, you just take a spoon on each side of the dial, and then you just push up. Get this one. You. Okay. There you go. Okay. It's very important you don't mix the dials. So as you can see, I put all the dials exactly apart for where they need to go. Bang, bang. This one's gonna go into here, and then this is gonna go into here. That way we don't forget which one went where and how to get there. Now you can actually take off the black from the white. So to do that, same thing. Let's get in here, start going with the clips. Pull off from there. And that's gonna expose pretty much the back board. So to get this off, if you guys don't see it, there are clear hooks right here. Zoom in on that. There's one clear hook right there, and there's one right here. You have to pull the thing down, and it's gonna unhook it. The actual decal on the back. Same thing. It's gonna pull it down and then pull it up. We know that the airbag light is gonna be right here. So that's gonna be the airbag light that we're gonna be taking out. Okay, so after replacing the bulb, we went ahead and got this guy back on, and we cleaned the assembly and everything again to make sure it's really nice. And then we're gonna put it back together and then put it back in the car. Okay, so once you get this guy, just remember that this dial has to be lifted from the actual decal. If it's not, it's gonna rub against it and it won't give you an accurate dial thing. So look for that gap. It has to be this kind of gap inside of it. Just make sure it's gapped out and look for the gap and you should be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up there. Right. Yeah.
Alright guys, so we're about to start the reassembly on the car and put everything back together. After you have all the 4 wires in and all the wires are connected through the back of the car, it's gonna pull it down here and you're just gonna plug in these connectors back into this cover. Okay, so I'm just resting it on the dashboard and I'm just gonna reconnect this guy real quick and this guy right down here. All right, you can see that, but this guy as well. All right, so now we have all of our electrical connections back in. Just gonna move this to the side and I'm gonna go ahead and connect the battery and we're gonna start the car up. Let's here should just go, so. All right, working, no light, and it's gone. Nice, so that's why you want to loosely put it back together. So now that you verify that it's good, you can fully put everything back together. Okay, we're just gonna come back. Remember, electrical, redisconnect the battery. If it'll want to come off, there we go. Stick that to the side. Start putting this all back together. So the way that you took it off is the same exact order you put it back on. So you're gonna start with the top half. You're gonna put this console on first. So remember, everything kind of just snaps into place. You shouldn't have to fight with anything. If you do, there's something going wrong. Okay, so we're just gonna go here. So like I said, everything just snaps right back into place. Shouldn't be too much of trouble getting it back on. Just make sure all the parts are snapped in. Okay, right here. Perfect. All right, and make sure it's flush before you tighten it, because if it's not, you're gonna tighten it down where you don't want it to be. Okay, so now you're gonna take the 3 10 mil, how before, stick it back in. Just gonna tighten those suckers up. All right, got that in. Take this, put that back in. Now, you're gonna take your molding and the run trim, stick it up in here, push it down. At the bottom, same thing. You just push it in, push it down. Okay, take your screw from your Phillips. You're gonna tack this guy right back in here. What we're doing right now is we notice that there is a crack right here on the back. So we're gonna go ahead and just fill that with some super glue. See how it's wiggling? Same on the side. So we're gonna just put some plastic adhesive on here and that will seal that so that the next time someone tries to take this off, that's not gonna break on them and then cause a whole mess of something else. Okay, and then you're gonna take your, make sure that's even. Remember, it goes down at an angle. Snaps right in, just like that. Okay, make sure everything is in to your liking. Make sure nothing's loose. Okay, and the last thing you're gonna do is put the governor cap back on. Just gonna put it with this front end going in first, and then you're gonna fold it down. So the teeth are gonna grab like so, and then you can snap it and it's gonna be flush. All right, so now we're ready to go put this battery back on. Okay, and we're just gonna turn this guy on, and you should have no more passenger air light warning. Battery dial, fuel level's good. RPMs work. All good. No passenger light. And neither one over here either. Putting the battery back down. And good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna slow down. You see, I just slowed all the way down, and now I'm speeding up to show that it goes accurately good in both down and forward position.